Hey everybody, this is Larry. I don't know what day today is. Whatever, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join me on Discord. Let me know what you think about today's poem. I just finished my 11-mile run, 9 of which is at my tempo pace. So I am dead tired, but let's get this poem on the road. Let's get finished. Let's go. Hey everybody, this is Larry. This is day 19 of the September Leetcode Day Challenge. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join me on Discord. Let me know what you think about today's poem. I just finished running my 11-mile day. I did a little bit of an intro. It's not much of an intro, so my apologies. But yeah, I'm just so tired, so beat. Someone keep asking me about windsurf, and I'm not gonna lie, I have not used windsurf specifically. I've used what have I used? I've used Leetcode, which honestly is still my favorite for now. But I'm not doing anything too intensive. Just some side projects and cleaning up my code. And I've been using what is the other one? Warp. I used Warp as a little bit of a trial because my friend had some like free thing to let me try. But windsurf, I don't know. And I honestly, like, at a certain point, I'm sure someone tells me that, like, like, I don't know. I think there is probably like some percentage gain, improvement of one AI thing over the other. But I don't really have, like, my question is, like, if I'm spending, I don't know, let's say it's a 5% performance improvement of time savings, if you will. If I'm spending like like, I don't know, like 8 hours a day, say, what is that? 5% times 8 hours is 24 minutes, something like that, right? 24 minutes. So that means that if I spend 24 minutes setting up the other thing, I could have just, I mean, yeah, I know maybe long-term savings, but these things also fluctuate all the time, so I don't know. I think that's my opinion on different models in general. I don't know if it's a good take up, but I also, just for me, like, this is just for me. I don't know. Like, you have to figure out what works for you, what makes sense for you, etc. For me, I just like Claude, just because I think of myself as like a code reviewer more than a coder. When I'm those things, and I can just have like a couple of branches up and then just do it almost way hands off for the most part. I feel like lately it's been gotten worse in that, like, I'm like, no, just keep going until I tell you to. You didn't finish the thing. What is going on with you, right? But other than that, like, I feel like it's mostly hands off, so I can kind of do other things, mostly watch TV while I get some coding thing. I guess relating to that, I don't know when, but if you have an iOS phone, I did make an iOS app. I have to set up a company for liability reasons, etc. But then I'll probably spam, this channel a little bit just to kind of be like, hey, it's nothing too major, and it's not supposed to make me rich or anything. It's not like a crazy startup. It's just like a fun little app for me to kind of edit photos and stuff. So yeah, so that's what I've been kind of playing around, and that was kind of my way to just play around and learn all this AI prompt engineering, if you will, right? I think one thing that my a buddy told me. I mean, I wasn't convinced about using AI because I don't know. I mean, I used a little bit like on ChatGPT, etc., like manually, if you will. But the one thing that my friend told me, which kind of resonated with me, was that she was like, you remember Uber from 10 years ago? Everything used to be cheap. Like Uber Pro was like $2, and everything was subsidized by VC, and everything was great and cheap, right? And now it's not cheap anymore, obviously, or at least in New York. I mean, there may be cheap in other places still, relatively or whatever, right? And AI right now is the same thing, where it is heavily subsidized by VC. So if you're gonna learn it anyway, try to do it now. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. So that's why I signed up. And then and as a go, I mean, initially I kind of just cleaned up my one-off scripts, and then now I've been kind of just writing random like this particular app, which I'll talk about another time in the future, just to kind of try to feel out what are the limitations, etc., right? Yeah, and kind of my take, and I've given this take before, so it's not new. So you know, I don't think it changed that much in the last like month or whatever since I last talked about it. But I think it's fine. Like it's almost like there's like for me it almost feels like just like one layer of abstraction away. It's not so good that like I'm sure you could get something working in either case, which maybe for product market fit is fine. But for me, as an actual engineer with 20 years of experience, maybe more now, I didn't do the math. Um, like it at a certain point, it does things that are maybe technically correct, may not even be actually correct because I'm doing with UI stuff and we don't have good UI like auto feedback thing. But MCP if you want to go that well. But for me, and a lot of the times I have to be like really specific of how to sell things, right? Like it's like, no, this is not how you draw a triangle. No, you have to use this algorithm. No, you have to refactor it this way to so that this would work. And like, no, you have to you have to change, you have to update the caller. Why are you not updating caller? So like there are a lot of things where I'm just like, I don't know, like, is it easy to get an app that is say, I don't know, 10,000 lines of code or whatever? I'm making a random number, but some smallish number, probably, and that gives like, that's a very good honeymoon. But after that, I just think it's just like you still need software engineers. You still for now, right? Who knows where we'll go in 5 years? Who knows where we'll go in 10 years? But there is diminishing return, so I don't know how much better it can be. And in that way, in me being hyper specific in how I talk to it, like it's almost like I'm adding an extra language. Like instead of programming in Python, I'm programming in English, but not precisely or something, right? Like so, it's some kind of like weird thing. But a lot of the stuff requires me to know the things I've learned to be able to do it, right? And I don't mean that in like an arrogant, like, oh, look at me, I'm so smart, only I can do this. I don't mean it that way, but I just mean like some stuff. And there were and I say this because I was trying to be lazy. I was just like, why don't you fix this? And I just couldn't figure it out until I actually had to go dig into the code. And I'm like, oh, this AI was just doing something really like I can see why they do it, but it's also like just really wrong, right? So I had to go back and be like, no, you have to like, there's a race condition with X, Y, and Z. You have to do it this way, and then it does it, right? So in a way, it almost like and at least for me, for specific UI and drawing things, I was like, I like geometry because I wanted to do some rectangle things in a certain way or whatever. I'll probably talk about it a little bit more in the future, maybe. But I want to do something like that, and it was just like flat out wrong all the time until I'm like, okay, fine, Larry, you lazy. Just go into the code, the math, draw it out on a piece of paper, and actually do it. And then I did it, and it took like 10 minutes instead of like the 2 hours I was like trying to get it to like print debug messages and feed it back to the server, all these things, right? So I don't know. Is it going to get better? I mean, yes, just because if it doesn't get better, you don't update the model, right? So, but is it going to be like, I don't know. Do I feel threatened like in getting a job? I also don't know, right? Like, I don't think it'll replace software engineering, but I also feel like a lot of automation will a lot of like CRUD apps or something like that may not, like that doesn't need to be an engineer anymore, maybe, or at least not like a specific engineer. Like I could just tell it certain things and then get a CRUD app up pretty simple, pretty quickly. So there are a lot of stuff like that. There are a lot of nuances. I don't know, but right now I'm still steadfast in my skepticism, I guess. But keep in mind, not everything has to. I think people are like, oh yeah, everything goes exponentially. You can't predict where it goes, and that may be true. And people say AI now to encompass everything, right? Like what used to be machine learning is now AI as well. LLM is what people probably mean by AI, but also not. I mean, in tech, maybe that's more true, but I think people just use AI for a blanket term, everything. And I would also say that, when I was starting out, when Google was starting out, that was AI, that was magic, right? And Google has gotten better for sure, but people also start gaming it, right? Like people start getting gaming it, and has Google gotten better? I don't know. Like in the last 10 years, like it's still good, but is it like anticipating my needs? I don't know, right? And with that, there may be a place for LLMs and stuff like this, but for me, is it a certainty that it will, exponential growth, uh, general AI, like all those things, right? Like, I don't know. Like, it could be, and maybe by the time I'll be dead anyway, so maybe it doesn't matter. But like, is it a given? I don't know, right? A lot of these exponential growth things are based off a lot of one-off things that happen in history, right? So, I don't know. Like for example, you can also say that my processor hasn't gotten faster in the last, I don't know how long it is, right? Like actually, I don't even know my clock speed. I mean, and instead now people find different ways, like there's GPUs, they like, but it's like, but like in terms of clock speed, like it's probably still under 3,000 or something. I don't actually know, even though like it's not even that important that I know my computers. I'm trying to actually click through my MacBook Pro to kind of see what the clock speed is, but like those are but when people talk about more slower, like things are still faster in a way, right? It's not necessarily clock speed. It's and at that point, also there's the speed of light thing, which is another story. But right, like people made more things parallelizable. Now I have like 8 cores or whatever it is. My computer's fast enough that I don't even know the specs, which is kind of maybe embarrassing as a nerd, but it's true, right? And then obviously also GPUs and even like AI specific engines or whatever you call it, like or they call it like thinking units or whatever it's called, right? Whatever marketing term that they came up with. So my point is that there are a lot of ways to maybe make improvements, and there's no doubt that it'll get better, and I don't know, right? Like it's kind of crazy, but I also would say that 5 years ago I would have never thought this is the world that we'll live in, right? Though 5 years ago was during COVID time, so I could have also just thought everyone would die, but who knows? A lot of things could happen, right? But these are kind of my thoughts for AI in general. Maybe I should do like a monthly kind of progress update or something. I don't know, right? Let me know in the comments what you think. I know it took me a couple of days to kind of talk about this AI thing, and I am trying to make these. I don't know. Let me know if this is interesting. I mean, important is probably not, but interesting in that, like, I know a lot of people come for obviously the Leetcode problem, but yeah, maybe these things are interesting as well, and you could kind of draw it from my. I mean, it's kind of funny because I was talking to a friend and how long have I been a staff or like staff plus or whatever, right? Like I've been like a staff plus engineer for like a decade, which is longer than people, so I've been programming for longer than people have been alive watching this video probably. So I don't know. I know. Your next comment is that, wow, he must be kidding / he looks young, but yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of my thoughts. Let me know in the comments. Also, if you have any questions in general, it may take me a couple of days because I always just forget because like right now it's 2 a.m. in New York, for example, and I'm recording these, and so a lot of times I'm just like getting on, get it over with, in a way, and then and I just forget what people ask. But if you ask me a couple of times or in Discord or in my comments, I'll get to it eventually. Let me know. I mean, with respect to like tech, because people ask me a lot about personal things, and the reason why I don't talk personal, or at least like my personal history, is just because I don't think it's relevant, and I don't think that like I've worked at companies that you've heard of. That's what I would say. Um, because I don't like being one of those people who are like, oh, this is my opinion because of XYZ. Like, that's just by authority, and I don't know if it means anything. Like maybe it's a better clickbait, but I'd rather people listen to me for what I say and not because I have like random credentials. Because I don't know, that's another story. That's another rant. So maybe we'll talk about that another time. But that's what I have for the intro. Let me get a little bit of this, and then we'll start at this design spreadsheet thing. Gotta rehydrate. Ran 11 miles. I am so beat. All right, let's take a look at today's problem. We have 3484, design spreadsheet. A spreadsheet is a grid with 26 columns, A to Z, and a given numbers of rows. Each cell in the spreadsheet can hold an integer value from between 0 and 10 to the 5th. Okay, so it's just like an integer spreadsheet, which is fine, I guess. Implement the spreadsheet class. You have rows, 26 columns, so 26 by rows. Okay. Set cell. Okay, just set the cell. That's fine, I suppose. This is... Oh, it's A to Z. I saw AX and I thought, because in actual spreadsheets, you could have 2-letter columns, right? So that's kind of weird to kind of use X in this way when, but anyway, reset cell to 0. Get value. You have... Oh, this is a formula. Okay. Is it only X plus Y always? Or is it like recursive? I guess this is pretty straightforward then, right? I mean, so there's no like getting a cell that gets a cell, get a cell or whatever, right? Because then if that's the case, you have to also look out for cycle, but it's not that hard. It's dependency. You have a dependency graph and it's like topological sort or whatever. But yeah, okay. So I mean, I think the key thing to probably note that I should double check is that there's actually not that many rows. 1,000 times 26 is probably even okay. But you probably want actually like a sparse table, right? And this in this case, because you only fetch at most two cells, so we can definitely do that. So let's just do it, right? I don't even care about the number of rows unless you have to like constrain against it. If all the inputs are good, then it should be good. But yeah. Okay, whatever then. Right, so then we just have to do cells is equal to yeah, I mean it doesn't really, right? We would even do collection. Whatever, just do it this way. That's just a collection, is not counted. Why not? And I don't know why my screen is lagging a little bit, but yeah, set cell. So what is cell? AZ. I mean that's even fine. I don't even care, right? Like we just do this. We set cell, right? And then the hard part is just a formula. But yeah, I mean the key part about this problem is just try to figure out the minimal things. Like I think it definitely feels easy to fall into a trap where you're like, oh, they want a spreadsheet, so let's do spreadsheety things and over design it. But as far as I can tell, unless I'm wrong, and I hope I'm not, like you can it's just a lookup of these things. You don't even have to audit anything, so it's very weird, honestly. But yeah, formula. So then your formula, split the plus, right? So left, right. And then maybe you could get like a helper get x, right? So if I guess the first thing has to be I mean there are two ways to write it, right? So you could write like you write int x, and it is actually Pythonic, which is maybe try return int x except that means that yeah, you probably get a what's it called, like an int value error or something like that. I forget what it is. But then now you just go a formula or x of right. Right, so then now it is row column is equal to this. Oh, I mean, you don't even need to split it because this is just return sub.cells of x, right? So then now we just return get left plus get right. It's always plus, right? And yeah, hopefully I didn't make a silly mistake. But yeah, like I said, I think the hard part about this, or the tricky, I don't even know if it's tricky, is just trying to figure out what is the smallest set of things you need for this problem. And definitely, you look at Spreadsheet, you maybe, you have a visual idea of what Spreadsheet is, and you may be tempted to kind of just create everything, right? But I think this is fine, right? Like this is 3 lines of code, and this is another, like this is 2 lines with a helper that's also 2 lines except for try except. So yeah, that's it. Pretty simple, I hope. That's all I have for this one. And just to kind of go over the complexity, I mean, I think this should be obvious, but this is all, well, I don't know, doesn't do anything. This is all of 1, this is all of 1, this is all of 1 twice, and that's it. Yeah, that's all I have for this one. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and yeah. Actually, I'm going to try something funky. I'm going to see if I could quad code this because we've been talking about it. Remind me later. Okay. How do I... Sorry, I'm not showing it on screen because I don't know how to set... I mean, I know how to set it up. I just don't have it set up yet. Let's see. Okay, I'm just going to paste this. Solve this problem. Oh, wait. All right. This from this template. I'm curious, like, because I don't usually use it. It kills the point of doing this if I use AI, but I'm just curious what code it would give me. All right. And maybe you could even start a timer if you like, because I just type it in and now I'm like, now I can watch TV, right, in theory. Oh, and then now it's done. So how long was that? I don't know. It wants to create a thing though, which I'll just show it here for me to paste. I mean, the code is actually, I mean, I guess, it's not bad. I'm trying to get it to just, it's hard to, it's in a format that has like a lot of like pluses and weird formatting. So I'm just getting I'm just trying to get it for me to paste. So, okay, there you go, maybe. And that took a while for some reason. Okay, does that work? I mean, it looks pretty okay. It does do a little bit more things. I don't know why there's a network error. That's, maybe if AI is able to do that, that'd be crazy. The AI could cause network error, but it's either that or my internet is terrible, which also maybe, no, my internet is actually pretty good, but in general, but I don't know why Leetcode was having issues. I do get annoyed about the formatting. Maybe I should tell Quad to fix the formatting. But yeah, all right, so does that work? Huh. Yeah, so okay. And slightly faster than mine, curses. That's actually surprising, but maybe not. Because, I mean, they basically do, oh, well, yeah, maybe not, because they use a whatchamacallit, a regular map instead of a collection, which has some overhead where every time you access it. But yeah, but otherwise the code is pretty much the same. So anyway, just wanted to run a fun experiment. But yeah, that's all I have with this one. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and yeah, stay good, stay healthy to your mental health. Don't get eaten by AI. I'll see y'all later and take care. Bye bye.